Solving equations with brackets. I know it looks a bit more complicated when you look at some of these examples. However, if we break it down into steps, it doesn't have to be too hard. So to solve equations with brackets, grouping symbols, basically you firstly expand the expressions. So we're going to get rid of the brackets, you might say, and then solve it as we've been solving other equations. So let's do some examples. Example 1 has 3 outside of a plus 7, close brackets, is equal to 6. As I said, it's just the work we've already been doing, expand the brackets. So you should realise straight away we use our distributive law to expand these brackets. You end up with 3a plus 3 times 7, I'll just keep it like that for now. Once you do that, 3a plus 21 equals 6. So I've just simplified a little bit. When we look at this, we want to keep it balanced, so we need to do the same thing to both the left and the right-hand side. For this equation, the variable is already on the left, so we only have to deal with the numbers. To keep it balanced, I take 21 away from both sides. This means I end up with 3a is equal to 6 minus 21, which of course is minus 15. Now, I divide by 3 on both sides. Keeping it balanced, I then end up with a is equal to negative 5. That question's pretty straightforward. However, as I move to the second example, it starts to look more complicated. So let's do our second example here. I feel like I'm going to run out of room, but we can work with that. 9m outside of m minus 5 is equal to 7 outside of n plus 1. Again, break it down, step at a time. If I look at my left-hand side, I'm going to use my distributive law to multiply the number out the front by each number inside. I'm actually going to do the same on the left-hand side. So I then end up with 9m, and I hope you're getting to the point now where you know 9 times 5, we're just going to multiply that, so it becomes negative 45. 7m plus 7 times 1 is 7. But now I have an equation with variables on both sides. So we have to remember our work from last week. And last week what we said was get the variables all onto the left-hand side. So we'll take 7m away from both sides. This means 9m minus 7m becomes 2m minus 45, we haven't done anything with the numbers yet, is equal to 7, because those two cancel each other out in effect. I'm now down to just dealing with my numbers. So I need to do plus 45. Those numbers seem quite large, I know, but it's because of what we're doing that we're getting to this point. When I do plus 45 on the left-hand side, it cancels out, so I end up with 2m. On the right-hand side, 7 plus 45 gives me 52. I now need to divide by 2, and I end up with m is equal to 26. I think I even heard someone whisper that. Well done. Third example, and please do not worry about taking up more room on your page. It's better that you get the question right. 3 outside of 2y minus 5. That looks complicated. And then we have equals 6 outside of 8 minus 3y. It looks complicated, but remember our steps. Break it down. Our first step was to expand the brackets, so let's just do that to begin with. Leave the 10y alone. Minus 3 times 2 is 6y. Minus times a minus gives us a positive, so it becomes plus 15. Is equal to 6 times 8, 48. 6 times minus 3, minus 18y. But I look here now, I can see I've got 10y minus 6y. Let's simplify that first. And we actually end up with 4y plus 15 is equal to 48 minus 18y. This is just like our questions from the other day. Variables on both sides. So let's get the variables to our left hand side. So to the right hand side I want to add 18y. Once I do that, 4y plus 18y gives me 22y. The 15 of course remains, is equal to 48. I now look and go, well I want to get my number across to the right hand side, take 15 away from both sides. That means 22y is equal to 48 minus 15 is 33, is it not? Yeah. 22y, of course, I'm going to divide by 22 on both sides. So y is equal to 33 over 22, but we don't want to leave it as a fraction like that. 11 will go into both. So I actually end up with 3 over 2, or 1/2. And that is how we solve equations with brackets. I know it takes a little while to get there, but it's worth having these steps so we get it right. And it's not too hard just to put a little bit more ink on the page. Thanks.